Hi, my name's Kay Plummer and I'm going to be your lecturer for auditing this session. If you need to get in touch with me, it's best to email and you've got my email address in the subject outline and on the home page for the subject. If you need to phone me and I'm in my office, yes, I will answer the phone and talk to you. The best time if you want to ensure that you get hold of me is between 2 and 4 on a Monday afternoon. A bit about myself. I did the professional year with the Institute of Chartered Accountants. I'm a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants. I've worked for KPMG. I've taught auditing as a lecturer at UTS and here, and I've applied the knowledge I've got teaching or learning about auditing and being an auditor to set up systems for organisations to make sure that no one can, that we limit the possibility of staff and others defrauding the organisation of their cash or other assets. I've really been focusing on things like internal controls and governance of organisations. So that's a little bit about me. And I'd like to hear something about you, and I will set up a forum for you to introduce yourselves to each other and to me so that we can get to know each other over this session. Now a bit about the subject. It's called auditing, but auditing is not just for those who will be doing an audit in their work. It also examines things like business risk and business systems, and isn't related a little bit to the subject Acc568, I think, the computing system subject, which also looks at systems from a computing point of view and a control point of view. So these two subjects are really quite interrelated in a way. In this subject, we don't look so much at the efficiency of business systems, but as an auditor, you do learn a lot about what systems work well and what systems don't work well. And when you're looking at the internal controls in a system, you can see where there is too much inefficiency in a system and how they could be streamlined. But you've also got to consider in streamlining the system whether or not you lose some of those controls and are unable to ensure that the assets of the organisations are safeguarded. In this subject, you'll also understand what an auditor does and what it actually means by true and fair in an audit report. And this is really important for you as an accountant, because accountants interact with auditors, so you need to understand that audit process. Accountants are also working for organisations that do business with other organisations, and as part of the due diligence before you do business with an organisation, it's always worthwhile looking at their annual report, looking at their accounts, seeing how financially viable they are. And one of the things that will help you do that is to read the audit report and understand what's behind the audit report, as this will help you make an assessment about the business and whether or not you and your business want to do business with that other business. So understanding auditing is going to give you a lot of skills that will help you in your work life. Now, you've already seen the textbook. I put that on the subject homepage, and most of you who are enrolled in the MPA program should have already received that text by now. The other book that you need to have access to and that you can use, and this is the only one you can use in the final exam, is the Auditing Handbook. This is the Auditing Assurance and Ethics Handbook published by Pearson and put out by CPA. This is the 2013 version. There is also a version published by Wiley and the Institute of Chartered Accountants, and the latest version for that is a 2014 version. You can bring in older versions to the exam, but they may not be entirely up to date. Also remember, when you take these books into the exam, they can only have tabs on them and they can only be highlighted and underlined. We can't have them with writing in them, and the invigilators will check for writing in the textbook, in the handbook. So please make sure when you get your handbook, it's tabbing, underlining and highlighting only. There are a couple of assessment items and regular online quizzes for this subject, and the online quizzes are designed to help you keep up to date with the subject. I suggest you make an attempt at all of them, even if you haven't done the reading, because it will help you work out where you need to focus more intently on your study. So really try and keep up to date with it. I know that at times as you're working that you will find it difficult to keep up to date week by week, but then you need to make sure that you put aside time in subsequent weeks to catch up. This is not a subject that it's really easy to cram at the end of the semester. This is also a subject where some people think just because you read something, you understand it. And that's not really a wise way to approach this subject. Yes, most of the content is through some video lectures that I'll be providing for you and reading the textbook. But to really work out whether you understand what's in the textbook or understand what I've given you in a video lecture, please work through the questions at the end of each topic, because these will help you identify whether or not you understand the content. Don't just look at the question and then look at the answers. Please have a go at doing the question before you look at the answers, because then you will really be able to see whether or not you understand the content. And that's what we're really after here, you having a great understanding of the content, so that when you come into the exam at the end, it's an easy exam for you to do. And when you go out into the real world and use this knowledge, you'll be able to use it really, really effectively. Okay, so that's all I have to say for now with respect to this subject. I will be making videos each week and posting them for you to look at, and I'll be taking on board any of the comments I get from any of the students to add extra information or do extra videos so that we can all keep together with this subject. Oh, please also remember that there will be a residential school towards the end of August, and I will see you all at the residential school, where we will go over what you've looked at up to the time of the residential school, and I'll give you a foretaste of the additional information that needs to be covered in the subject. So, looking forward to working with you. I'll set up a forum and you can go to that and put in a brief introduction about yourself so that everyone can meet each other on the forum and we can all work together as a team to get the whole team through this subject with great marks. So, thanks very much, and I'll see you soon.